Hi, Heidi ho, Heidi ho. So, I am making my breakfast. Message for today is about haves and have-nots. There are those of us that have, and there are those of us that have not. And there's two sides to every coin. So the phrase haves and have-nots all depends on what we're looking at. So when we look at the soul, and we know there's a nephesh, which is the beastly soul, the ruach, and then the shama, which is a godly soul heading towards God, Arim Abba. There are haves and have-nots. There are have-nots that don't have a soul. And the have-nots that don't have a soul feed off the souls of those of us that have a soul, a godly soul. So, when we look at all the perversions that are going on around the world, those are the haves, or the have-nots, that want to have, but there's a disconnect in the frontal lobe. They don't have empathy because they're have-nots. We've gotten it so backwards, and it's hard to reconcile, but it can be reconciled. So the have-nots are concerned with materialism. They want bread and circuses. So they're entertained with bread and circuses. And they feed off of the souls of those who have a neshama, a godly soul. And they take advantage of those with the neshama. So God is the will to bestow, and we are the will to receive. And to be godly is to bestow unto others. Those who have not, who don't have a soul, they know that because they're NPCs. They know the game. That's how they live their life. By sucking from those who have a soul. So they manipulate, and they use words like, well, it's for the children, or it's for the women, or, all those other things. And the whole time, they are the ones that don't have, and they are trying to suck the very life force out of those that do have a neshama. So they build these corporation corps, dead legal fictions, and they create documents, and they want you to bow down to those documents, but ultimately it comes down to our heart and our mind. Who do we love with all of our heart and all of our soul, our neshama? Do we love the state of physicality, or do we love Arim Abba? But anyway, those have-nots that don't have a soul, they're concerned with the bread and circuses. They want to have yachts, so they say have yachts and have-nots. Well, that's backwards. Because the ones that have yachts have not, because they have to have materialism. That's all they're going to receive, is what they receive here. And there is such a thing as the synagogue of Satan, the synagogue of a mosque, a synagogue of, or the synagogue of Satan, the mosque of Satan, the church of Satan, the temple of Satan, whatever. All religions have those that are have-nots. And they need to receive from those that have. That's how they survive. That's how they live. So they'll build up a mosque or a temple or a synagogue or whatever. And they want you to give, 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 give. And will sit and convince you that you're doing the right thing by giving to them. But they're not concerned with actually building up. So it goes back to the year of Rav. They're not concerned with building up a temple for Hashem. They're worried about building up something to create a name for themselves. So it goes back to the Tower of Babel. Let's create a name for ourselves, and this land shall be Elohim to us. So you make land your God, claim ownership of the land. and you claim a right to rule over others. And you manipulate with the fictitious conveyance of language and false misleading statements. It's all about collecting for the corporate states. So the corporate state of Israel, the corporate state of China, the corporate state of Mexico, the corporate state of the United States, the corporate state of Canada, the corporate state of whatever state. They're all corporate states run and controlled by the bankers. All the wars are bankers' wars because they are looking for what they don't have, which is a soul. So they don't have any problem with you giving your life. They don't have any problem with taking your life. They don't have any problem like vampires feeding off the soul of others, because that's where the vampire comes from. They're the Year of Rav, the ones who eat the flesh of other men, the ones that take advantage of the innocents. So that's the message for today. Haves and have-nots. That is such a thing. There is such a thing as vampires, energy vampires. Everything that you've ever heard that is a conspiracy theory is based on truth. God bless. Much love.